Sawako is a female student who is neither gorgeous nor has a great family background, but she is quite famous and makes people afraid wherever she goes. Just because her appearance is somewhat similar to the ghost Sadako in the Japanese movie The Jing, her classmates spread rumors about Sawako and avoided her like the plague. They even went so far as to spread rumors that if anyone looked into Sawako's eyes for more than 3 seconds, they would be cursed. Soon, the name Sawako began to fade into oblivion, and instead, her classmates called the female lead Sadako the ghost in everyday life. However, God never cuts off anyone's way of life. The female lead is not loved by her classmates, but she has the attention of Kui's, the most popular male student in school with a scholarly appearance, a bright smile, and a kind heart. Kui's is the first classmate to call the female lead by her name, Sawako, and maintains a cheerful attitude when meeting her and is friendly to her like everyone else. In addition, Kui's also volunteers to help her in all class activities. His attention to the female lead can be compared to the warmth of a sunny fairy in the cold winter. Perhaps he realizes that the female lead is not as shy as she appears. Sawako is also kind and willing to help people when needed. As long as it can bring joy to everyone, she will definitely not refuse. For example, the day the school held a bravery challenge was coming up, and her 2 friends Chizu and Jino asked her to pretend to be a ghost to scare everyone. If this statement could hurt others, it would be different for the female lead, because she has a gentle and tolerant heart. So when she received that request, she asked her 2 friends, "If it makes everyone happy, I will accept." Just like that, the female lead practiced in front of the mirror how to pretend to be a ghost properly every day, and her parents were also happy to see her so enthusiastic. That night, the female lead wore a white dress and appeared in the dark, waiting for someone to pass by and shining a flashlight on her face to scare them away. Her face was indeed emotionless and soulless to the point of being scary. Seeing them running away and avoiding her, the female ghost felt even more excited and chased after her, but when he met Case, he was only startled and then acted normal to deal with Sawako. He praised that she looked very similar to a ghost. The 2 of them talked for a while, then Chizu and Jino came to pay Sawako with a bottle of soft drink. Today's challenge was a success, thanks to the female ghost. The next day, when the scores were tallied, the first place winner was rewarded with a snack, while Case was at the bottom of the list and had to accept the punishment. Everyone thought for a while and then suggested that he go on a date with Sawako. They didn't expect everyone to use this method to toy with her. Don't they think it's too much? She's also a human and has feelings. Many times, they saw Case protecting Sawako. Everyone thought that he already had feelings for the female ghost, otherwise no one would do that. Case was misunderstood by everyone, so Sawako immediately stood up to explain. Yesterday, the 2 of them were actually together, but nothing happened. However, the truth is that she couldn't hide the fact that she really admired his strong vitality. Sawako was different in that she was a very innocent person, she just didn't talk much and wasn't as active as her age. And that was also her lifestyle, even simple things could make her cry. Like the day after school, Case gave her a bag of candy and said it was an apology gift from the whole class. That was enough to make her cry. After the summer break in the new school year, according to the rules, the whole class would have to draw lots to change seats. The other male students looked at Sawako's position to see where she sat so they could avoid sitting near her. Yet Case took that number and volunteered to sit next to Sawako's desk. At this time, besides Case, her 2 friends Jino and Chizu also started to befriend the female lead. She felt like her dream had begun to come true. From then on, the others no longer discriminated against her appearance. Some people even took the initiative to help her in class activities. Everyone became closer and closer to Sawako. Partly because Sawako was close to Case. It was also easy to see that the female students took advantage of her approach to get close to that male god. However, behind the scenes, there were also some jealous people who wanted to destroy their friendship. Ton spread rumors that badmouthed Jino and Chizu and then blamed Sawako. The 2 girls heard about this and decided to ask the female lead directly if she was really like what the others said. Unexpectedly, she was so stupid that she didn't clarify for herself and just kept silent. because in her mind, she was thinking that she was the reason why they were caught up in those rumors. Afraid that if they continued to play with her, their reputation would be affected, she kept quiet. Until one day, Chizu talked to a boy named Ryu and suddenly had an epiphany. There was no way the female lead didn't talk much and had few friends. How could he spread rumors? It seemed that they had misunderstood and distrusted Sawako too much. That day, Sawako was sitting in the toilet and accidentally heard the girls talking badly about Jino and Chizu. It turned out that the rumors were spread by them. She immediately opened the door and ran out, telling them that Jino and Chizu were really good people, so don't talk bad about them behind their backs. She mustered up her courage and asked them to take back what they said earlier. Everyone outside was worried that a conflict would happen, so they gathered in front of the girls' restroom. They heard that Sawako was about to be beaten for defending Jino and Chizu. So they immediately ran to protect the female lead, and at the same time, ignored the rumors and chased away those bullies. Only at this moment did Jino and Chizu truly understand the female lead's feelings for them. They hugged each other tightly and promised to be good friends forever. From then on, the trio of Sawako, Chizu, and Jino went everywhere together. And one fine day, a beautiful girl named Kuzumi suddenly took the initiative to befriend the female lead. She also acted very close, calling her friend from start to finish. Even though it was not a break, they invited her to eat together. That overly friendly attitude also made Jino and Chizu suspicious. However, seeing Sawako so happy, they didn't want to ruin her mood because they realized that Kuzumi's real purpose was not to be friends with Sawako, but just to use her to get close to Kei's. Didn't Kuzumi make a pact to share Kei's when she was in middle school so that no female student could confess to Kei's? The school-wide sports festival was coming up, and Sawako and Kei's practiced soccer together every day. No one knew if there was anything more than friendship between the two, only that they were always stuck together, which made Kuzumi very uncomfortable. The day the girls' soccer team of Sawako's class won the sports festival, Kei's went to congratulate her but was interrupted by Kuzumi and dragged to a deserted place. Her purpose is to assert her sovereignty to Sawako that she has feelings for Kei's. She wants to confess to him soon, so she really hopes that the female lead will support her. However, for Sawako, Kei's is very special and she realizes that she cannot do it, so she refuses. For that reason, Kuzumi's attitude immediately changes, becoming strangely stubborn. While going to the field to watch Kei's match, a ball accidentally flies towards Sawako. Luckily, Ryu caught the ball in time. Seeing this, Kuzumi immediately paired Ryu and Sawako up, secretly sent a letter asking Ryu out and tricked the female lead to meet them privately. Taking this opportunity, Sawako thanked Ryu for catching the ball earlier, when she realized that the message was not sent by Sawako. Ryu realized that this was a trap and said that he already had someone he liked, and that person was Chizu. After hearing that, Sawako felt relieved and even complimented the two of them on how beautiful they were. The two continued to sit and chat happily when suddenly Kei's passed by and saw them like that, so he pulled the female lead's hand to another place. It turned out that the male god secretly liked the female ghost, so he was jealous and asked her if she liked Ryu. The female ghost answered frankly without hesitation, "I don't like Ryu." After the conversation with Ryu just now, the female lead suddenly became more courageous. She went to Kuzumi and admitted that she really liked Kei's. At this point, Kuzumi started to cry because she thought that she would never lose to someone like Sawako. She tried to confess to Kei's once, but the answer she received was that he already liked someone else. Because of that, Kuzumi started to avoid Sawako and declared that from now on they were no longer friends. Sawako was still innocent and didn't understand why. Kuzumi asked again, "Have you seen anyone befriending a love rival?" That day, Sawako lost a friend, but it was okay because she still had Jino and Chizu, and Jino had just dumped his boyfriend. They went shopping together to relax and then stopped by Kei's grocery store to buy a birthday present for Ryu. Here, Chizu chose a shirt with a shiny lettering for Ryu and smiled. Seeing that, Sawako asked her if she had feelings for him, but that only made Chizu remember Ryu's older brother many years ago, and said that she only saw him as her younger brother. It turned out that Chizu wanted to take advantage of Ryu's birthday to meet his older brother. Knowing Chizu's intentions, Ryu said that the official celebration was only for family. So he only invited his friends to celebrate his birthday the day before. This reason for refusing not only disappointed her but also made her feel heartbroken. Had he never treated me like family before? After that day, the relationship between the two of them went to class in a rather tense state. Everyone knew Chizu's thoughts, so they gave her advice. Maybe Ryu had some special reason for saying that. We should go ask him directly to avoid misunderstanding him. So before the birthday, they decided to go to Ryu's house together. When everyone was celebrating inside, Chizu pulled Ryu outside to talk privately. Before they could ask anything, Ryu's brother just returned. Chizu couldn't control her joy and immediately rushed out to hug him. But just a few seconds later, the sky seemed to collapse. Chizu brought her girlfriend home to introduce to everyone and said that they were getting married. Chizu tried to smile and congratulate him, but the atmosphere was still very heavy, and at this time, Case was also afraid that Chizu would be embarrassed, so he suggested that it was getting dark so everyone should go home early to rest. When she was little, Chizu dreamed of growing up to be Ryu's brother's wife. It seemed that her dream had come true, but for someone else. Today was Ryu's birthday. She brought a package of fruits to give to him. But when she got there, she heard Ryu say that he was very happy that she was finally disillusioned. This idiot had bullied Chizu since she was little and still did. The words made her heartbroken and threw the birthday gift back and left. Everyone at home was extremely worried about Chizu, fearing that she would not be able to recover when she heard that her brother Ryu was getting married. So they decided to invite Chizu over and prepare themselves to listen to her heart. Only Case was certain that he would be fine. However, things were not that easy. Chizu ran away as soon as she saw Ryu. He did not mean to apologize, but instead wanted to let her know that he had known about her feelings for her brother. Here, Chizu was about to cry, even more resentful because she had been considered a fool for so long. She told her friends about this. They commented that it turned out she just wanted to see Ryu as a piece of paper to vent her anger. As long as she could vent it, she would feel better. That day, Ryu's brother took the initiative to come and find her. The two of them walked along the road from school to home, passing by places filled with memories of the two of them since childhood. After a while, he stopped because of Chizu's gloomy face. "Do you know why I always call you Chi?" It turned out that when calling Chi, the mouth would open as if smiling. And that was the reason why he wanted to call her that. Because he wanted to see his sister always happy. Chizu felt somewhat comforted when she heard this. The answer he had given was so clear that there was definitely no hope left. She happily congratulated him on his happiness with the fiancé he had chosen. However, she did not know that everything behind it was arranged by Ryu. She asked him to comfort her so that Chizu would accept letting go. Her brother returned and said that the mission had been completed. Ryu began to visit Chizu to see how she was feeling. Chizu said that she herself did not think that her dream would come true. She also felt like this day would come. She saw him as an older brother that she admired. Seeing that she was still lying, he decided to speak up for her. "I know your feelings for him are true." The sentence made Chizu burst into tears and lean on Ryu's shoulder. This guy is really strong, having to witness the person he likes liking his older brother for many years. Only a few days left until Christmas. Everyone started decorating the classroom together and planning a fun day out. The female lead wanted to ask her parents to go out with her friends, but her father interrupted. The baby's due date was the 24th and her parents were worried because it was already past the due date, but the baby was still not born. In the end, she made her mother wait until the extra day before the baby was born. For her father, the 24th was the best gift. Hearing this, the next day she had to tell her friends that she couldn't go with them because she had to celebrate Christmas with her family. She carefully prepared 2 gifts for Gino and Chizu in advance. Both girls received gifts and were very happy with them. On Christmas Day, her father spent the whole day preparing food for the mother and daughter who were far away from her. Suddenly, her mother received a call from Kuai's. He said that everyone was having a Christmas party, and the party would be more fun if Kuai's was there. She really wanted to go out with her friends, but she didn't dare say anything because she was afraid of disappointing her father. Through that, her father told her that next time she didn't have to be afraid to tell him anything. Sakwa happily rushed to the Christmas party location. In this cold winter, there was nothing better than having a girlfriend. Sakwa and Kuai's started exchanging gifts. Then she went to karaoke with her friends. The enthusiastic youth just had fun to the fullest. After singing, everyone told each other to go home. They even cleverly pushed the responsibility of taking her home to Kuai's. After walking a distance, she suddenly closed her eyes and stood still. Kuai's kissed her reflexively, making both of them panic. It turned out that the homeroom teacher had said that she could thank him by closing her eyes. She didn't understand why that was a thank you. Kuai said that if he acted like that again, that would happen. After saying that, he shyly ran away, leaving Sakwa alone. That day, she was dressed up beautifully, because the group had agreed to go out to celebrate New Year's Eve together that night. However, when they arrived, only Kuai's and Sa came to her. It turned out that they had tricked the two of them and deliberately avoided them to bring them together. After Kuai's knew that today was Sa's birthday, he quickly wished her a happy birthday and lined up to go to the temple to celebrate the new year together. When he returned, Kuai's drew a large tattoo and exchanged it with the female lead's fierce tattoo. That showed that he was willing to give her all the best things, but when Valentine's Day came, around Sa appeared many satellites ready to give chocolate. It was understandable that he was so famous that many people loved him. Sa came to her, half-heartedly, because she was afraid to get close to Kuai's. She brought the cake she made herself to give to Jino and Chizu. Seeing the other female students surrounding her boyfriend, she stopped and hid the box of chocolate in her bag. During recess, she mustered up the courage to bring Valentine's Day gifts to Kuai's. However, seeing him receiving Kuzumi's gift, she could only hide in a corner and think about random things. Unfortunately, Kurumi saw her, so she told Sa through her that Kuai's would only accept chocolates if he didn't have any special feelings for him. After hearing Sa through her, she knew that she wanted to be special to Kiza, so she decided not to give him her gift. In the new school year, everyone changed their seats, so Kuai's and Sa through her seats became further apart. They had difficulty talking and gradually grew apart. The female lead was assigned to sit next to a new male student named Kento, who was quite eye-catching and energetic, not inferior to Kuai's. He was also very friendly and used many intimate gestures whenever he approached Sa through her. That made Kuai's feel that he was no longer special to Sa through her. He went to ask her directly if he was wrong in thinking she was his best male friend. She was so flustered that before she could answer, Kuai's had already left. Since the day Kento appeared around Sa through her, the male god Kuai's started to feel depressed and extremely worried. Knowing that it was selfish, he had to make a decision to tell Sa through her to forget what he had said before. Not long after, Kento took the initiative to find Sa through her with the purpose of reminding him to stay away from her. Because he would make her be boycotted by others, and Kuai's confidently affirmed that if that happened, he could completely handle it. That day, Sa through her also confided in her close friends, she was not strong enough to give chocolate to Kuai's. The reason was because recently he seemed to be avoiding and keeping his distance from her, so Jino came to find him and kicked him, hoping Kuai's would scold him. He couldn't avoid Sa through her anymore, he was used to being ignored. So don't let him be confused. Meanwhile, in this new school year, Sa through her almost got a position in the class. She is more confident that she can handle problems on her own without Kuai's caring anymore, which is also what Kento tries to do for Sakwa her. He wants her to be strong and shine when standing alone, not in someone's shadow, so Kuai's is really tactless to him. But Sakwashi does not agree with that thought. Kento talks for a while. Sakwashi suddenly bursts into tears, and then Kento takes this opportunity to confess that he has feelings for the female lead. But Sakwashi does not agree with that thought. Kento talks for a while. Sakwashi suddenly bursts into tears, and then Kento takes this opportunity to confess that he has feelings for the female lead. Outside, Kuai's just passed by and saw, immediately rushed in and pushed Kento away. Everyone discovered this scene and started gossiping about their love triangle. Kuai's also admitted that he likes her, but she thought that because he was too kind, he was just pitying her and said that. Kuai's confessed his feelings, but the female lead was too stupid to understand, making him disappointed and leave. At this time, Sakwa suddenly followed her to the rooftop by inertia, apologizing for making Kuai's worry. Afraid of losing her love to Kento, the male god confessed again, "I like you," and asked if you like me? Sakwa nodded. The answer was so obvious, but she still thought that she liked in another sense. As a result, one person sat and cried while the other left. The female lead thought Kuai's was kind because he only felt sorry for her. But Chizu and Gino would be very angry if she thought like that. They also liked her and so did Kuai's. Don't look down on yourself because you deserve more. On the other side, Kuai's thought his confession failed, so he had a confused expression. Kazumi knew that, so he came to make Sakwa pay for daring to hurt Kuai's. It turned out that she couldn't see the female lead as a rival, because the female lead didn't need to fight but could still refuse to hurt the person she liked. That day, Sakwa went home to look at the fortune-telling, on which was written the words, "Give your all to love, happiness will come," and soon the news of Kuai's failed confession spread throughout the school. But from then on, the distance between him and Sakwa became more and more distant. One day Kento told the female lead that he didn't think he could have Kuai's feelings. The two of them looked like a pair of chopsticks. But now no one can make him sad, make him cry or laugh like Kuai's, so why do you still build a wall between you and Kuai's? I support you to try hard and not give up. Leaving the female lead's place, Kento went to see the male god to apologize for the previous misunderstanding. However, Kuai's realized that he was the one who misunderstood Sakwa. He should have understood and trusted her. On the other side, the female lead also began to realize the importance of expressing her wishes. It was clear that she had never given Kuai's any signals. When they met, Kuai's quickly apologized first for being selfish and only thinking about himself, while Sa told him everything she had received from Kuai's. Then she ended it with a thank you because he had awakened many new emotions in her. Right at this moment, Kuai's pulled the female lead into his arms and said, "I love you, our feelings are the same, right?" The two began to enter a relationship that was more than friendship, less than love. The female lead happily showed off and asserted her sovereignty to her rival. At first, Kazumi seemed unhappy, but after a while, Kazumi thanked the female lead, because thanks to her, he dared to confess to Kuai's. Even though she was rejected, she still felt satisfied. Since seeing Sa through her and Kuai's holding hands happily, everyone was happy and blessed them. The couple's first handshake was quite shy but also romantic. The student love was extremely innocent, but when their parents discovered it, they were still surprised. Kuai's quickly and politely greeted Sa's parents through her and asked for his permission to be very serious about this relationship. Recently, seeing Sa through her happier than before, her father also supported her. Her father's words made them feel more confident, and they became closer every day. In the quiet library, the two of them were planning to make a bowl of rice for each other, but Gino unexpectedly appeared and ruined the romantic atmosphere. After that, they also awkwardly cleaned up and went home. Kuai's felt troubled because he wanted things to progress slowly. Unable to control himself, he decided to keep his distance from his girlfriend. Seeing Kuai's cold and indifferent attitude, the female lead started to worry and took the initiative to hold his hand, but unexpectedly he pulled his hand back. Once again, Sawako fell into a state of confusion, not knowing what to do. She could only blame herself for perhaps not being good. On the other hand, Chizu was suddenly threatened by a female student, not to stick to Ryu anymore. He already had someone he liked. It turned out that she confessed to Ryu and was rejected, so she was angry and came to cause trouble with her. Out of anger, she went to ask Ryu for the truth. This strong guy did not hesitate to say that he was very happy to see Chizu caring about him like that. Because the person he liked was her. After hearing that confession, Chizu suddenly skipped school the next day. This rarely happens, so Sawako asked everyone to find a way to contact him. However, only Ryu knows best how Chizu is doing right now. He asked Kuwais to bring food to Chizu. She had agreed to date Ryu, but was afraid to face each other, so she skipped school to come here to escape. The end of the year is another Christmas season. Instead of a date for the two of them, Kuwais suggested organizing it for the whole group. That made Sawako feel disappointed. Outside, Ryu and Chizu exchanged gifts. Inside, Kento heard a male student say that he confessed to Gino just to gamble, so he immediately rushed to beat him up. Was he allowed to joke around with her? Although Gino had rejected the confession, why did she still feel disappointed? She cried and ran outside, asking herself, why did she only attract such bad boys? At this moment, Kento hugged Gino tightly and said, if you've never loved anyone, love me. I promise to treat you well. Meanwhile, Sawako wanted to be alone with Kuwais. When she returned, she remembered what he said last Christmas. She closed her eyes and waited for something from her boyfriend. But he was scared and avoided me. That's just in the movie. In real life, meeting me was over from the first episode. Sawako was both angry and disappointed. You're a liar. She asked about Kuwais' feelings for her again. Now he knows what he needs to do to please his girlfriend. Kuwais gave Sawako a light kiss and hugged her. She was a witch in everyone's eyes, but she was very special to him. Kuwais loved Sawako because she was completely different from everyone else. This year was the third Christmas season since they met. And the important thing is that they are still together. The gifts that both of them give each other are really precious to each other. No matter what it is, as long as it is given by the person you love, it is definitely the most special gift. The love story of the female lead and the male god of the school is quite gentle. Until one day, they are accidentally caught by Kuwais' father waking up together. Sawako politely greets and introduces her parents and their jobs. Looking at her uncle's quick-witted face, she thought he was upset with her. Until he threw her an orange and told her to eat regularly, making her almost jump out of her skin. Since it was the end of the year, the school also held career orientation surveys. According to Sawako's wishes, she wanted to become a civil servant, an office worker, or a social worker. As for Chizu, she wanted to open a ramen shop, while Gino only filled in one wish, which was a regular university. This surprised the teacher because her strength could be much more than that. The teacher advised her to try to step out of her comfort zone. Even her mother, after being persuaded by the teacher, tried to find a way to advise her daughter. Her mother said that since she was little, she had always chosen safe things for herself. Mom can understand that, but to have a happy life, Mom always does what she wants and marries the person she loves, even if it is full of challenges. What makes Gino hesitate is not because she doesn't want to try, but because she has Kento by her side. He treats her so well and kindly that she can't bear to disappoint him. Kento promised to marry her after graduation, but this promise is not what she is expecting. Gino confided to her friends that her wish is to go abroad, to see and discover new things. But if that's the case, Kento won't be able to keep up with her, going through the process of gradually struggling with her dream and the responsibility of love. She decided to tell her teacher that she wanted to choose to take the entrance exam to the capital university, which means that if she passes the exam, she will have to leave this city and leave Kento. After the parent-teacher conference to consider the wishes of the students, Case was beaten up by his father because he wanted to take over the store without asking his father's opinion first. To him, his father was a very hot-tempered father. He had never been satisfied with what he did, remembering when he was young. On Father's Day, Case gave him a stack of shoulder massage coupons that he had done, but after receiving them, he told him to focus on doing his homework. His mother had a chronic illness and was often hospitalized in grade 5. Because he had to take care of his mother, he had to skip the soccer class where his father was a coach, and as a result, he was beaten and scolded by his father for doing everything well. After listening to her, she comforted her boyfriend that his father was just a bit strict and wanted the best for him. If possible, he should spend more time talking to his father, considering the wishes of the female lead. After being encouraged and advised by her teacher, she changed her mind about becoming a teacher, and Case believed that she would become a good teacher, so she should be confident in her decision. Chizu is working part-time at Ryu's ramen shop. Although it's a part-time job, she asked her uncle to let her become a full-time employee in the future. It turns out that this was her way of approaching the son of the ramen seller. Ryu heard that she wanted to go to the old gifted school that his brother used to attend. But she insisted that she didn't do it for him, but for Ryu. She wanted to go to high school with Ryu and cheer him on in every soccer match. After Case's 18th birthday, his father expressed that he wanted him to follow in his footsteps and become a sports coach, but he only wanted to go to college. And he was determined to prove to his father that he was serious about doing it. On the other hand, Kento was quite disappointed when he learned that Gino wanted to study in the capital. Just to be close to Gino, he was willing to change his dream, change his wish to study in the same school as his lover. However, this was not fun for Gino. If things didn't work out, all the mistakes would be hers. Actually, Kento shouldn't give up her dream because of Gino, because she knew she never really loved him. She just saw that he treated her too well, so she agreed to date him. She had many boyfriends before but didn't know what love was, maybe because they didn't give her what she wanted. What Gino always waited for wasn't a promise or a chat. Realizing that, Kento took the initiative to say goodbye so that Gino wouldn't feel guilty. Then he praised her for being a really nice girl. While Ryu changed his wish, he wouldn't go to a gifted school but decided to go to university. This surprised Chizu. She was so sad that she cried and begged him not to go, but she didn't know that the change was also because Ryu wanted the best for her. Seeing her working part-time at a noodle shop all the time made him very worried, so Ryu decided in the upcoming volleyball match. If he won, he would go to a gifted school; if he lost, he would go to university, to have a more stable future. The day Ryu went to the field, Chizu was absent, because she didn't dare to face the truth. However, at the last minute, she tried to check the scoreboard of the match and saw that Ryu's team was about to lose, so she ran to the pier and shouted loudly, asking Ryu to try his best to win. However, the result was not as expected. Ryu accepted to end his baseball career here. Chizu came to see her, both comforting and regretful because the two were about to part. Suddenly, Ryu gave her a kiss, promising to return soon to take over the ramen shop with her. That day, Kei's mother was working in the kitchen when she suddenly became dizzy. Kei's mother felt like she was being scolded by her father. "Don't worry about Mom, leave it to Dad. Just focus on what's most important to you." Because Mom had to go to the hospital, he asked Sawako to come to the house to cook for the two of them. At that moment, the high school girl was no different from a real housewife. After eating, she and Kei's brought flowers to visit her mother. With the stubborn personalities of father and son, the mother knew that there was a difficult problem between them. Dad was a strict person, so sometimes his conversations caused misunderstandings, so she revealed a secret to him in the first drawer of the cupboard. Case curiously opened it and found that the massage voucher was still there. It turned out that although his father had not said anything all this time, he had secretly kept it like a treasure. Case told his father that he had a good reason to become a sports coach. Because the teacher had introduced him to a plan that when he followed his heart, the choice he made was to follow his father's path. But besides that, he also wanted to take over the shop for his mother, so after graduating from university, he would do those things one by one. This time, seeing that his son seemed determined, his father had no choice but to accept. The old man asked him if his massage certificate was still valid. So the first massage ticket was used. In the end, Sawako decided to go to a vocational training university. It was difficult to make this decision because her school and Kei's school were in two different places. If so, they would have to stop seeing each other for a while to focus on their studies. The young couple did not put pressure on each other. On the contrary, they sympathized and understood each other, willing to wait for each other until they returned successfully. At this time, Gino realized that the advice of the homeroom teacher was exactly what she needed. Every time she interacted with him, she felt an indescribable emotion. She probably did not realize that she liked him until her friends questioned her. According to her explanation, it was because the homeroom teacher knew what was really good for her, giving her advice and frank comments that her previous boyfriends did not. Thanks to her hard work, Gino finally passed the entrance exam to the capital university. The first person she went to brag about was her homeroom teacher. Unexpectedly, he had been waiting for her all day just to hear the news. "It's great that you passed." Gino took the opportunity to confess to him. This was the first time she felt her heart so clearly. However, due to the age gap, the teacher refused and advised her to focus on self-development. After that, the teacher kept his promise and gave her a small gift to congratulate her on passing the university she wanted. In addition, Case also received the acceptance letter. It seemed that everyone had fulfilled their obligations well. After the graduation ceremony, Kazumi suddenly came to apologize to the female lead for what happened in 10th grade. The female lead was also very forgiving and was willing to forgive everything. The teacher training school that Sawako registered for the entrance exam had the latest results, making everyone wait impatiently. As soon as the results came out, Sawako went to the notice board and discovered that Kazumi was there too. It turned out that the two of them had the same dreams and aspirations. Even the results of the entrance exam to the Japanese language teacher training class were the same. The two former rivals now became schoolmates, happily hugging each other as if they found themselves inside the other. That day, Gino dragged a suitcase to get on the train to leave the city but was caught by Chizu and Sawako. Leaving without saying anything was not good friends. Let them see him off for a while. Gino was afraid that this moment of separation would make her cry and smudge her makeup, so she secretly left. After saying goodbye to Gino, Sawako went back to look at their commemorative photos. This was truly the most beautiful and memorable moment of her school years. Since Kei had grown up, he also moved to another house, needed to arrange many things, so he called Sawako to help. The girl who was once called a witch by everyone has now become a more confident and mature young woman with her hair neatly tied up and an apron. After cleaning up together, they had lunch together. The lunch box was prepared by Sawako herself. The two of them looked like a newlywed couple. Sawako was quite worried because she knew that her boyfriend was very attractive. If she wasn't by his side when he went to college, he would probably be surrounded by many girls. To reassure Sawako, Kei gave her a ring, tried it back and forth, and finally only fitted on her ring finger. She was embarrassed to take it off, but Kei stopped her because that was what he wanted. I went to Kei to see Sawako off for a while, but she was reluctant to leave. After the hug on the bridge, Sawako expressed that she didn't want to go home. So she decided to call her mother to ask for permission not to go home today. That night, the two of them slept in the same bed, but only Kei slept while Sawako stayed up looking at his face until morning. Chizu came to see Sawako off, followed by Ryu. No matter how close friends are, in the end, each person still chooses their own path. No one can lose their own dreams for someone else. Chizu really wanted to use a smiling face to say goodbye to Ryu, but in the end, he couldn't help but shed tears. Ryu still had that cold face, but she knew that deep inside this guy was a heart that was both strong and warm. After all, it was Sawako's turn. The female lead Chinchu said goodbye to her parents and promised to live a good life. Thanked her parents for giving her the best things in the past 18 years. She carried her luggage to the car. On this side, Case had already made a spare key and sped off. The train arrived and Sawako was about to leave when Case appeared in time. He handed Sawako a handwritten letter and ran after her to watch her for a while. On the train, the female lead took out the letter to read. Attached was Case's house key. He saw her as a part of his life, an indispensable other half of his life. Some time later, during the cherry blossom season, Sawako set foot on the land where she and Case met. After all, they still kept their promise to continue writing their own love story together. Today's movie content ends here. Thank you for your attention.